Welcome yogurts, Omri here, thanks for joining. Today's practice is about patience. Going back to basics, these moves are often at the beginning of class, creating the foundation upon which class builds. In this video, I'll cover some basic moves as well as give you some more insight into how and why I make the adjustments I make. If you like this video, please hit subscribe down below. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow morning.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Starting in the middle of the mat, slowly bending the knees as I lift the arms up towards the sky on a way to a forward fold. I love the forward fold these days because it gives me such a great stretch in the back of the legs, through the hamstrings, the calves, the Achilles tendon, even down to the foot, which then helps me later on in class stretch and move deeper into postures. Same goes for these squats here at the bottom with the knees and the toes pointing in the same direction, the feet wide, stretching out the back of the body. Moving into the sequence, lifting the right leg and moving it around to wake up the hip and the lower body. And then finding a back bend at the top because my back is getting stronger. But something that feels really great going through a simple Surya Namaskar. And Surya Namaskar is the sequence of movements that happens at the beginning of class, where you move from the back of the mat to the front of the mat. When you get to the top, you lift up for some pose, and then you come down again and you move back to down dog. And there's many ways you can decorate your Surya Namaskar. I'm sure there are purists out there that will say that a Surya should be as prescribed by a certain lineage or a certain person. But I find that yoga is very individual for the person, and the way I move in my sequences that I film here is catering for my body. Some of the insight I provide is about that, why I make the choices that I make. Moving to the other side of this opening sequence. Another great technique to have is to deepen each posture as you get to it, especially if it's a posture that's repeating. So on the first time I get to a back bend, I go as deep as I can, but I don't really push beyond. And then the second time I might push just a little bit farther. And these here, the fallen triangles, are a great example of how this posture started with a much narrower positioning of the feet. But over time, as the feet get wider, open wider, the posture also becomes significantly more fun. In this posture, pyramid pose, it's not about whether the feet can move as far away as possible. It's about trying to get the upper body to go as far down the leg. And that's a very difficult posture. There's a lot of work to be done there to push it to the next level. And for most people, the hip is going to be more troublesome getting into the pyramid. And that's why we use blocks, so that all that weight of the upper body, as the hips tries to reconfigure and find a good position so that you can feel the stretch, once you take that weight off by using blocks, it becomes easier to feel what it is that you need to feel in the posture. I remember a few months back I was talking to a student about the pelvic floor, and they kept looking at me confused. The pelvic floor, how am I supposed to feel the pelvic floor? For a lot of yoga teachers, including myself, I think we take for granted that we have feedback from these parts of our body that we've been working on for many years. Not everybody feels their pelvic floor, not everybody understands the anatomy of their body, which is why it's important to listen to the words in the description. And it's cumulative, so over time, you develop the knowledge, you understand how you're moving and what is it that you're trying to address. And even if you don't understand perfectly and fully, you'll still have enough so that you can continue doing some research yourself if it interests you. Obviously, if you have an injury, it's important to understand the mechanics of the movement, and you're much more inclined to then understand how to make the movement beneficial and helpful to whatever is going on in your body. As I move through these postures, you'll see, especially if you've been following the sequences in the last month, a lot of it is focused on my hip, my pelvis, my hip joints, and that's because I'm addressing whatever's happening in my body. It just so happens to be that a lot of people are very tight in the hips, so these movements can help everyone. Closing the sequence by moving into a happy baby and an Navasana, trying to get that squeeze in the lower abdomen in, and then folding forward into the stretch. See you tomorrow, everybody.